Special day for Ray Parlour, celebrating becoming a father for the second time last night. A son, Frankie. Now trying to get his focus on what Arsenal regard as an awkward match. Arsene Wenger believing that Aston Villa are in a false position. Well, here's an opportunity for Gareth Southgate and company, depleted though they are, to show that that is true. And Andy, they've certainly got that Bilbao performance to build on today.
Yeah, I think that was an important one for them, Martin. Defence hasn't played as well as it should have done, or Brian Little will have expected it to have done, or the way it has done over the last couple of years. But Wednesday in Bilbao, huge shot in the arm for the defence unit.
Well, the end of British summer time heralds the start of a vital period for Arsenal's ambitions in the Championship. After Villa, the next visitors, Manchester United and Liverpool, come here, and Blackburn. There are trips to Derby and to Newcastle also on the pre-Christmas agenda. Well, Dennis Bergkamp, who has had us all searching for superlatives, some would say, on the evidence of August and September and some of October, the best player in the world. He's racing into the centre, trying to get on the end of the first cross of the game from Lee Dixon. Positively won by Tony Adams, and Schinke getting a header in for Villa. Grayson and Nelson in midfield today, the first time he's been used by Villa in this position. Draper. Now Parlour. Bergkamp and Wright just making angles ahead of Dixon. Patrick Vieira. And now Morte, trying to show that he's got what it takes in the Premiership. He was very much involved in the reserve team, in quotes, victory in the Coca-Cola Cup over Birmingham.
Lovely football. They started very confident, so they should. Gary Charles actually just slipped when Morte played the little 1-2.
Emmanuel Petit with the corner. Bosnich having to deal with a stooping header from Steve Bold that bounced its way through.
Just arrived a little bit low at Steve Bold. I think at a better height it might well have been more difficult for Mark Bosnich.
Here's Nelson. Joe Chip has made a chance for himself. Well, he really could have hardly got it higher if he tried, but he's a bit ring-rusty, Julian Joe Chim, and Aston Villa concerned about whether he'll last the full 90 minutes here.
Not sure if that was a deliberate little nutmeg, but if it was very neatly done. The chance was there, the opening was there. Cardinal sin, didn't test the goalkeeper.
Julian Joe Chim, who of course was an outstanding youth player and under-21 international, was in that under-18 team that won the European Championship with the likes of Robbie Fowler and Gary Neville and Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt, have all gone on to play for England.
That's the type of ball, Martin, that's going to be gobbled up by Adams and Bold, you feel. If they're going to play at that kind of height, it's got to be over the back of the two centre-backs to give the front two any chance.
Bergkamp. Well, the pass finding Petit making the run from midfield. The Frenchman recalled to the French national team after almost 2 years for a recent friendly international against South Africa. He was actually injured early in that game, and Arsenal were concerned whether that would keep him out for a long time. Happily, it hasn't been the case. Dixon, Bergkamp.
Midfield three for Villa might end up working really hard, Martin, if Arsenal can transfer the ball from side to side.
Here's Draper. Harry Charles, who is a Londoner, working the Villa side in the capital today. Draper. Charles pushing forward, and Adams having to get there once and twice. Up through right. away by York. Vieira trying to power through the centre. Bergkamp for right. Schumacher is the defender, and he did very well.
Well played. That was the threat. Bergkamp deep, right making the forward run. Very, very well defended. Good player, Ricky Schumacher. He needed to be so alive to Wright's run. Sees it early. Good body strength. Wasn't going to be brushed off.
Dixon straining to keep the ball in play. Aston Villa can draw some comfort from a good record here. They've lost just once in their last 8 visits to Highbury in all competitions. Dixon. There's Park, pursued by Nelson.
Well, that must be a goal kick. I felt sure that Ray Parlour just got a little nudge. I thought if it was free kick, if anything. But undoubtedly this must have been Parlour that just knocks it away. Well, just there's the nudge come in, there's the poke, the ball from Parlour. Bit ambitious, but he got it.
Corner it is. Bosnich fisting. Villa regrouping as he has the chance to play it in towards the big men again, but only finds the size of the Australian international goalkeeper, Mark Bosnich. And Australia, under Terry Venable's guidance, edging ever nearer a place in the World Cup finals themselves next summer. Charles with a throw. Here's York. Petit wanting someone to come to feet.
Well, he doesn't know righty. If you're up at the halfway line, Martin, with a defender in Ian Wright, there's only one place Ian Wright wants the ball, and that's over the back with 40 yards to run into.
Here's Nelson. Bold wasn't sure where the ball had gone. Picked up by Boamorte. Nice cushioned header by Petit. Referee is Paul Durkin. And he's given Arsenal a free kick.
I'm not sure, Mark, but I think that's the first free kick that's been given in this game. Almost 7 minutes into it.
Well, it's 8 days from Ian Wright's 34th birthday, but World Cup qualification has given him even more incentive to maintain his boyish enthusiasm and his goal standards, and to check on that, Glenn Hoddle is here. Remember that plaintive cry in Rome from Ian Wright right on the final whistle when we got to hear from him. I'm going to the World Cup finals. Glenn Hoddle, please pick me.
I wouldn't mind laying money that a certain Mr. Ian Wright is in France next year as a player.
And here's free kick number 2 against Petit.
Well, they sent a little bit of height up. You go, the Hjog's gone up.
Hjog back in the team, left out in Bilbao, and no complaints. He knows he hasn't done himself justice this season. Put some of it down to a pre-season Achilles tendon injury that meant he was a bit slower into his stride, but it must have been something of a mystery to Brian Little the way Aston Villa started the campaign, losing 4 in a row. Had 2 very competitive seasons, 4th and 5th in the Premiership. Just wondering, trying to make that extra push for real glory, why they've fallen rather than risen.
It's hard to understand that, Martin. I think that normally you might think, well, has he sacrificed something defensively? No, I don't think they have. They have tried to play Milosevic, York and Collymore in certain games.
That might be what you were saying in the studio before the game about them maybe being too nice, with the average of less than 1 yellow card a game in the Premiership. Arsenal, of course, almost 3 times as many cautions, but their disciplinary record has been the subject of debate for some time now. Back by Charles. Bosnich prefers to kick with the other foot, and you can see a perfect example of that.
No, anywhere does. Safety first.
He's right. Schumacher getting it away and into a useful area for Joachim. Supported by Grayson infield, but he's prepared to take on Vieira. Just too high for Grayson. Dixon got there to make sure it didn't get to York. Here's Alan Wright. Comes off Bowles' foot. Pacey break by Aston Villa.
They're a little unlucky, Martin. At the end, when Joachim really did show his pace, I think he's played a decent cross in. And Lee Dixon's got all sorts of problems. He's got York, he's got Grayson coming in, but he chooses right in between them, and he gets lucky. That's where you take a chance. Had he gone with one with Grayson, then certainly York would have finished it off comfortably. He'll tell you it was experience.
Yes, that experience brought Lee Dixon into the understrength team fielded in the Coca-Cola Cup. He was captain that night, but ended with an injury that kept him out of the Premiership game at Crystal Palace. York. Morte. Oh, it's a fine ball for Wright, and he couldn't take it on.
He just couldn't get it out his feet. Threats there though. Even early in the game, once or twice, Ian Wright's threatened to punish Phil out the back.
Luis Morte had the ball through beautifully to him then.
Just gets a little bit wide, you go to York, and he can't just drag it out.
Wright, incidentally, 7 goals in his last 7 matches against Aston Villa. In the league, that is. Here's Parler. Arsenal have a corner.
He does well, Ray Parler, Martin. Does a really good job for this Arsenal side. Today he's tucked himself in just a little bit tighter in midfield, I think, to combat Villa's 3 central ones.
Again with the corner. Southgate got to the ball but didn't deal with it definitively.
A little bit of help from Simon Grayson. He looked just to ease it away for another corner. Got underneath it. But they're a threat, no doubt. Vieira, Adams, Bold. Lovely little group there. Be plenty of movement from them. A real threat.
He's changed sides. That's Bold. There was another touch in there as well.
Now, if the ball delivered in is a good one, and that one is into a really good area. Just took a little nick after Bold head. Bold heads it first, but it's after that. Just takes a nick.
They wait again. Petit delivers again. Oh, that was a hand.
It's a handball. It's a handball.
Handball. And Vieira might well get himself into trouble for that.
I have to say it's a great spot from the referee, Mark. The linesman gave him no help at all.
It was easier to see from our side of the pitch.
Most definitely. But look where the referee is. Got loads of players between him. And as that comes in, the left arm goes up, nudges it into the net. He spotted that well. It's a good spot.
Well, Vieira's found all sorts of ways of getting himself booked since coming into the English game.
Do you know, he might well have got there, Mark, that he gone for his head, with his head anyway.
Yeah, when you were talking about the big men at the corner, Andy, I was thinking, I can't remember Patrick Vieira actually rising and heading the ball in Bold or Adams' style, and
no, but he's a threat,
with
isn't
a
he?
chance then.
If he's 6 foot plus, and he is, then he's a threat. He just makes a nuisance of himself.
Mind you, I saw Steve McManaman head in a corner yesterday.
That's true.
So. Well, the downside of it for Villa. Bosnich felt some of the arm as well.
I'm just talking to say, go and dive at it, head it. But he opts to just hold back. Doesn't really catch him with the arm, Bosnich. I think it's the impact. Might just have winded Mark Bosnich. But I certainly can think of 1 or 2 forwards that would have flown at that with their head. And taken the impact and the goal as well.
Paul Durkin was not deceived, and the game will restart with a free kick to Aston Villa, taken by the now recovered Mark Bosnich. Adams. Pressure on Petit by Draper, but it breaks Arsenal's way. Petit. And Draper applying the pressure unfairly that time. Arsenal trying to fashion a fast start here, but Aston Villa digging in and trying to show that despite losing 4 of the players who were on duty in Spain on Tuesday, they can still be strong and very difficult to break down, and hope that York and Joe Chim in particular can fashion something with maybe less supply of the ball than Wright and Bergkamp are going to get.
I think that's fair. I think they would have been told the front two, you may have to work on scraps today.
And you might have to go and hunt the ball yourself, which is what York did then.
I think it's the type of game, sorry man, I think it's the type of game Brian Little, if you gave him 0-0 at the beginning, he might well take it and go back up that M1.
Here is York. A good first touch. Winterburn.
Well, he hasn't started well, Dwight York, Martin. I'm one of his biggest fans, and his touch has been pretty poor in the opening 15-20 minutes of this match.
He's also one of your biggest fans, incidentally. Going back to the time when you were assistant manager at Villa and gave him, he says, his competitive instincts.
Good boy.
Petit to help it on, in fact might well have come off the defender. Bosnich came out and saw off the danger. Adams with time to assess. Able to go on. Still Villa hold their ground. Joachim now look to spring forward quickly. York, Grayson, Charles moving down the right. Now Joachim has shown an effective change of pace a couple of times already. Given back to Grayson momentarily. Bergkamp for Wright, but unlucky. The idea was splendid, the execution
just skips away.
Key.
That's all. The ball, once it bounces there, it just skips away. You can see it skip away from Wright. They held the line, Villa, didn't get it right. Looking to play offside.
Vieira, Bergkamp. Intercepting this time was Echiog. Oh, and Bold committed and beaten, and York, and there's a slip by Adams as well, and It was fortunate for Arsenal that Nigel Winterburn was on duty, but then Seaman's given the ball away. Grayson, and I don't know whether the pitch is just greasing up a little, but a number of players slipping.
They put a lot of water on it, Martin, about an hour before kick-off. Arsenal had the sprinklers on. It has got a little bit of a top on it. And that might have proved fatal a couple of minutes ago when both Bold and Adams just down in front of Dwight York.
Southgate, now Shimmiker. Captaining the England under-21 side. Shimmiker. Vieira. Well spotted by Hyog. And by Southgate, the pass to Grayson. On in turn for Alan Wright. York is flagged offside, but the referee doesn't need to stop the game. So David Seaman now stands alone as Arsenal's record appearance goalkeeper. Setting a new mark today. Winterburn cuts it out. Far Morton. Winterburn never stopped running. Arsenal have got three in the centre. And Wright. Oh, well,
a block,
was
son.
Viciously hit, brilliantly blocked. And it's back with Dixon. Feed it in for Bergkamp. Southgate saw that coming. Well won by Adams. Parlour. Alan Wright may well have got the ball as well as the man, and here's Joachim. York's in the middle trying to get in there first, which he's done. And as he played it back to Joachim, the flag went up.
Well, they got away with that, Arsenal there, but Ian Wright really struck this left foot volley so fiercely. But this is when defenders are as good as a goal. Talk about desire when you're a front man and wanting to score. This is desire not wanting to let a goal in. That's a brilliant block. Absolutely top class.
And after Ian Wright, Alan Wright.
Well, that's a free kick, simple as that. That's why they're whistling.
Right for Arsenal. Sprinting from the youngster from Portugal.
That's been the profitable side so far, Martin, that left-hand side. It's where they've looked to probe, in behind Gary Charles. They've had some joy at the moment. But when Villa gets set, five at the back, they're proving difficult to break down. It's when they go forward themselves that they're just leaving a space or two for Arsenal.
Vieira!
Well, maybe that's why.
He went with the head.
Maybe that's why he hasn't scored too many. That's as good a chance you're going to get from a corner in this game. It's a free header. He can't be more than 6 or 7 yards out. And he's missed by a country mile.
Parlour. Well, that was a pass. And at the moment it's not quite happening for Patrick Vieira.
You can see what he's trying to do, Martin. He felt he had to drill the ball into Bergkamp, to get it there, and then give Bergkamp a chance for maybe just one touch and through on goal. If he'd have played a soft pass, it would never have reached Bergkamp. The idea was okay, just the execution let him down.
Vieira. Back by Grayson. Shimmiker. Just a bit short for Joachim. Bergkamp. Able to nick it through. Well, the new disciplinary system has worked both ways for Arsenal. Under the old system, Dennis Bergkamp would not yet have been suspended, but the new reward for good behaviour has suited Steve Bowles' case, who's now gone 5 full games without getting a caution, so his previous caution is expunged from the record. And Arsenal played him in the reserves to make that happen on Tuesday. So whenever the system is brought into place, clubs will do their best to maximise what comes from it. But if you look at the Bold case, well, he will now not be suspended if he picks up a yellow card today, which would have been the case had he not played the full 90 minutes in the reserves on Tuesday. Southgate decides to steer it away from the goalkeeper, somehow aware of Bergkamp marauding in.
I think that's pretty accurate, that possession. It's been dominated by the home side. It's been a bit like a practice match, and many people set it out. They set the stall out, they say, go on, attack us then, see if you can break us down. Well, I've certainly set the stall out with 5 and 3, got the right players there, said, go on then, have an attack, have another attack. And that's the way it's been for 25 minutes in this half.
Stabbed out by Southgate. Back it comes at Aston Villa again. Sponge like they've soaked it up so far. It's a long, long time, 90 minutes to defend with Highbury. Fatigue. And the ball running through. And Bergkamp responsible for it in the mind of Paul Durkin, using Effiog out of the way.
Just indicating he used his body. Ian Wright wasn't too happy with the decision. The ref's having a little word with him. He just tries to, just eases into him, trying to ease him out, trying to pull it down on his right foot. It's not an awful lot in that. I have to say, having gone out for a goal kick, I'd rather just let play go.
Good chasing by Wright, not fairly enough by Effiog.
Oh, that's when those big long legs come in handy.
There's the throw.
Oh, that was a dangerous pass.
Sierra using his long legs to good effect to get on the scene quickly. In danger of overplaying. That won't be part of Brian Little's battle plan.
Well, they're just capped, marking the edge of the box. David Seaman better move about in his area, otherwise he might take root. It's so cold here.
Winterberg. Vieira. Dixon. Nelson sticking to Parler's forward running.
Well, I said the ball was slippy.
Happened. Once on each side in very quick succession. Well, of course, there is another Premiership game going on at the Reebok Stadium. Bolton trying to get off the bottom of the table at home to Chelsea. Lead with Dean Holsworth's first goal for the club. Bold header. Dixon's clearance. Bergkamp hoping for a mistake by Shimika.
Yeah, a little push. Bergkamp just looking to use his body. Ricky Shimika just eased him away.
Steve Bold made a late run in a deeper position. Adams darting across as well. Bergkamp takes it. Oh, against the bar from Vieira, who's been the major threat so far.
Well, his header might have been a poor one, but his side foot volley was struck brilliantly.
And Ekyog gets in between Bold and Adams, importantly for Aston Villa, but Bosnich was beaten.
I thought somebody had a right hold of his shirt as well. I thought he played that when he was under all sorts of pressure. And just look how close Ian Wright was to being on the hand, just to knock the rebound in.
Here comes the corner from Petit, and it's Patrick Vieira again. One of those days when everything is falling for him.
I think he's complaining that maybe his shirt was being pulled again there. This is a difficult one. It was high when he tried to volley it. He was always going to get underneath it. It's been an eventful, half hour for Patrick Vieira.
Including the booking, which takes him to the brink now in terms of this new disciplinary system. 5 yellow cards, whatever the offence. And at this stage in the season, it's a 3-match ban. Vieira's had 4. A rather nervy back pass from a player who's just trying to get his best form back together, Ugo Ekyog, and also feeling the pace of this opening half an hour when it's been defend, defend, defend from Aston Villa.
Well, not the breather, Martin. Any time the ball's gone forward, apart from the one run from Joachim, the running cross, it's come straight back again.
And taken by Bosnich.
That's years of experience. We talk about this back four, how they know each other, but Dixon and Winterburn superb there. Joachim just daydreaming slightly. As soon as Bosnich was going to have to kick it, they both stepped up, offside. But that's total domination, not only possession-wise, but look at that, in action areas as well. And that 53%, I would guess, the dominated possession in there, Arsenal.
Adams. Arsene Wenger's certainly stamped upon his defenders real encouragement to come forward whenever possible. Even though this season they're playing with a back 4, we saw plenty of it when there was the insurance of the extra man and a 3-man back line and the 2 wing-backs last season. But he's quite clearly stated the view that he'll take a few risks defensively because he wants to build a team capable of attacking. Arsenal's record so far this season justifying that philosophy. Bergkamp beaming it in. And, the touch took it behind lunging Tony Adams, lunging backwards to try and make contact.
I just wondered if it was a corner actually, Martin. Is it Gareth Southgate who gets the touch on this? Just in front of Bold there. Yeah, it's Southgate's head that met the ball. Adams clearly no touch on it. I think that's what Arsenal players were asking the referee. Surely it was a corner.
You mentioned the know-how at the backhand. Seaman, Dixon, Adams, Bold and Winterburn, more than 2,000 appearances for the club between them. But Joachim trying to get the better of them, but he couldn't. And David Seaman, who's had very, very little to do. Villa still have it though. Grayson. Southgate coming onto the ball with some authority there.
Great example there, Martin, what football at this level is all about. It doesn't matter that you can dominate possession, but that's a better ball. It's down the side for Joachim. His pace clearly troubles Bold, and not for the first time. That big right hand comes out. Just watch Seaman. It's past him. No, it's not. Right hand's out. Smack on the palm, saves the day.
Grayson. This is Dwight York against Adams. Well, it's important for Aston Villa to offer these occasional threats. And that was the most dangerous moment that they've fashioned to this point. Just over 10 minutes to go to half-time.
So they've done quite well, Villa, in respect. Look at the goal attempts, man, 6 only. You know, and been totally dominated. So what they've done is, okay, they've set the stall out to make life difficult. I think to do what Brian Little said they were the last couple of years, a tough side to play against. They've certainly done that in the opening half.
Oh, there's a tough man to play against. Patrick Vieira, tremendous tackle. Bergkamp. Solidly away from Alan Wright, who's another who's had to try and get his game together after a tentative start. A regular for 2 years, but he's been dropped on a couple of occasions this season. Draper. Now Nelson. Chimaka. The forwards tackle.
Well, the back three of Villa would be happy with that little piece of action. It's given them a little bit of a breather for almost the first time in this half.
It's a wasted free kick by Alan Wright. Vieira. Morte. Tracking back by Julian Joachim. I said earlier that Villa are concerned about his stamina because he hasn't had too many games. He's one of those fringe players who's not often risked in the reserves but rarely gets a game from the start in the first team. So this is his first this season in the Premiership, and he only had 3 starts last season. As a forward, he'd probably not pick Arsenal away as a game to be brought into.
If you don't get a game often, you take anybody away, Matt.
Correct. Joachim's eagerness has carried him offside. Julian Joachim will be interested in our Monday night football, I'm sure, as will quite a lot of the Villa men with Leicester connections. We're at Filbert Street, Leicester against West Ham, who've certainly contributed to the season so far, and John Hartson with an ex-Arsenal interest. Currently the top scorer of all the Premiership players, none of his goals in the league, of course. Aston Villa felt the Hartson force in the Coca-Cola Cup. Sticking to his job like his teammates, and Arsenal trying to exploit another dead ball situation. Adams hasn't come up this time, but Bold is there. Oh, and Bergkamp, he went deliberately going for goal.
He went for it all right. Trying to sign off in spectacular style. He certainly attempted to catch Mark Bosnich out. No, the little finger comes up, no chance.
That's a good turn by Draper to lose Petit. And Bergkamp. Back heel, which didn't come off either. Looks for the run of Petit. Somebody met by Effiog. Morte in there, and Nigel Winterberg. Not quite getting the room that Chelsea gave him late on at Stamford Bridge recently.
Well, they've defended well, Aston Villa, Martin, apart from 1 or 2 little half scares. And problems that they have, obvious problems from set pieces. I'll be pretty pleased. The 40 minutes gone, it really denied Arsenal any real clear-cut chances in open play.
Knocked in by Winterburn, trying to join in from the opposite side. Nelson neat and tidy on the ball. Joachim on for Fernando Nelson again. Past Parler. Alan Wright. Well, he got the power, but nothing like the accuracy.
That was ambitious. Good options as well, Alan Wright, Martin. Joachim's on his left. Absolutely acres of space. We've got a couple of players in the box. Decent outlets. That really is not a threat.
40 frustrating minutes for Arsenal.
That sums it up perfectly. That's what it's been. It could have paid the price. Joachim went through. Best save of the match from David Seaman.
David Seaman missed both games against Aston Villa in the league last season, both of which finished 2-2. Just looking back on the records, the last 5 matches between these two clubs have ended as a draw. That is as we stand at the moment. Dixon. Closing down again from Julian Joachim. York working across, trying to get to Adams. Usually having to pass the ball under some pressure. Grayson. Now Alan Wright. York able to turn to Grayson. Well, quite York for a second, just trying to kid Arsenal by shaping to shoot. And it was a clever pass. Bergkamp.
Yeah, again, that was a real scare, Martin. Shape to shoot, kidded everyone. Grayson had made a lovely run, spotted by York, just unable to get hold of the ball.
Over the last 10 minutes or so, they began to occupy Arsenal more in the other half of the pitch with Aston Villa.
What's growing in confidence spring to mind. Passing's been crisper now all of a sudden. Trying to find blue shirts.
Steve Bold just picking himself up a bit slowly. Bergkamp going down, and the referee allowing the game to go on. Just got a little untidy, and Villa trying to capitalise on that through Gary Charles. Draper, not too much height in the centre, and maybe sensibly explores another avenue with Grayson. Shimika shows the confidence that has blossomed for Aston Villa. Maybe overconfidence though, as Arsenal look to counter-attack into some of the space left by Shimika, but Adams was overhit.
Just maybe down the side rather than straight at the goalkeeper. Might have helped. Bergkamp was always running away from him.
Charles has made a good recovery. An injury that kept him out entirely last season. Put up. Bergkamp, who's learning to bite his tongue. Actually, the general run of opinion here at Highbury is under the old point system. Bergkamp would have got 14. Remember, it was 21 for the first suspension. 5 separate incidents, 5 yellow cards, and new rules say a 3-game ban. Vieira shrewdly down to Parla. Just trying to knock it somewhere where Parla might connect. Aston Villa trying to make sure that their good work in drawing some of Arsenal's sting in the first half is not going to be ruined by conceding at this late stage in the first period. There's a pause while we all waited to see what was going to be the ruling then, but it's a corner. And that was a corner that Aston Villa rue conceding. Petit's been busy taking them in this first half. Here he goes again.
That's a good header, good defensive header.
So stoppage time before half-time at Highbury. Touched off by Wright. Boa Morte. Wright slipped. South gave in the way. Still becoming more hurried in their work and more untidy with it. Charles. Joachim. Parla got in front of Alan Wright, a ricochet there. But Ricky Shimaka has been excellent for Aston Villa, and he's not been alone. And that's defenders who've had a lot on their plate and would have come here expecting just that. There have been times this season when Aston Villa have been a softer touch than one would expect from them. I'm little first to admit that. Petit. Charles dealing with it this time. Not suiting Villa and York in particular.
I wouldn't have given Villa in the first half as an example of the level of defending most people expected from day one. That's why they were considering them challengers.
Yes, the manager's been quite prepared to accept the brickbats, having enjoyed the bouquets for the last couple of seasons, which included winning the Coca-Cola Cup in '96 when they beat Arsenal, of course, in the semi-final. Dixon.
Nowhere to go. That's a little example. Squeezing well, really played well. That's absolutely nowhere to go, Arsenal.
So no goals for the side trying to regain the leadership of the Premiership. But Patrick Vieira has been the thick of most things. He got the ball in the net unfairly and was booked for that. He rocked the bar with Arsenal's best effort of the first half. Villa playing sporadically on the break, but Julian Joachim called in because of depleted resources for Brian Little today, producing a fine save from David Seaman. It's 0-0.
I'm delighted that Paul's made that decision, and it's good to hear that Glenn didn't try to influence one way or the other. I think there would have been an awful lot of people north of the border upset if that had been the case. But nice to see Paul clear it up.
Glenn Hoddle, as we've stressed so often, bringing you the England games, has such a belief in Paul Gascoigne and the way that his game should develop at his time of life, as it did for Glenn, the player. Well, so far, not a good Sunday for clubs from the capital, with Chelsea having lost at Bolton. Congratulations to them, their first Premiership win at the Reebok Stadium, and Arsenal finding it very hard here to break down Aston Villa, who've come with plenty of backbone. Draper. And hoisted by Ehyog. And Dixon made it his. Dixon there again. He's got it through to right in turn to Bergkamp. Dixon involved again. Vieira. Whipped away by Alan Wright. And Vieira. Certainly starting with the positive note that Arsenal require. Making a run into the penalty area and getting his head to it. And all the energy had gone into the leap.
It's very difficult to know what Arsene Wenger in particular, Martin, could have said to his players to change anything. It's one of those days where you feel that he's got to just say, you've got to keep chipping away. We might have to rely on a piece of magic from Wrighty, a piece of magic from Bergkamp. Perhaps he has said, looking at Petit's run there, maybe he said to the midfield duo, let's just try and get one of you forward ahead of play, just to try and upset this three central defenders that have played ever so well first half.
There's Nelson. He's certainly not looked out of place given a different role. But Paul Durkin, that was a theatrical fall. What Arsene Wenger might also have stressed, Andy, is the need for patience, that one goal might be enough and don't go necessarily chasing it too much.
Well, you can see Nelson does get caught. I think that's a free kick. The referee just didn't agree with anybody else, I don't think.
Southgate surveying the scene and sending it long towards York. Draper. Pitched on by Bergkamp. Right for Petit. Back for Ian Wright. He's through. Well, it's a goal kick. He claims that there was another touch in there. Certainly Villa just got to him in the act of shooting.
That's just a lovely play. Two great little touches. That's the third. And Shimika again gets round, Martin. I don't know how much he gets of Ian Wright, how much he puts him off, but you think from there Wright is going to score. But you can see the foot comes out, just makes contact. As Ian Wright makes contact with the ball, that might have been just enough to send it over the bar.
Well, for an instant it looked like a definitive Ian Wright moment, but it wasn't a definitive Ian Wright goal. York rather muddling into Adams, free kick to Arsenal. Vieira. Royson determined to keep up the competitive level in midfield for Villa. Bergkamp's dummy. That's way off, quite the one required. Tochi. He's certainly got himself involved in the game with limited opportunity.
Well, you couldn't fault the attitude of any player on the park, Martin. Every one of them is certainly giving their all, working as hard as they possibly can.
Striker just indicating that he expected a bit more movement up front that time. Falls out of play. Arsene Wenger's first year completed at the start of the month. Plenty of new players in. What's gone unpublicised, really, the number of players who've been surplus to requirements. 2 more left recently, Ian Selly and Glenn Helder. Knox and Merson, of course, the high-profile departures. But many others have moved on. Linnigan, Shaw, Hillier, McGoldrick, Morrow. David Platt still here. I'm wondering whether he'll get a chance against one of his former employers.
Well, it's certainly a game where Arsene Wenger must have in mind, Martin, if it stays 0-0 for much longer. Somebody who has the natural goal-scoring instinct of a David Platt, coming from deep, difficult to pick up, against your old club.
That's a poor one from Parlour. Draper. York, nicely played. This is Nelson. Sent tumbling again and not getting the decision. It was Petit that time. Right. And some Villa protests if this break leads to an opening goal for Arsenal. And I feel the game should have been stopped. Parlour. Now Vieira. Petit.
Well, the break's gone though, Mark. They're back now, Villa. That's when they've looked strong, when they've been set. With those 5 defenders strung along in a straight line and the 3 working so hard in front of them. Grayson, Nelson and Draper. And Arsenal really found that difficult to break down. Yeah, look at those 5 strung along there. They've been very disciplined when they've been set.
Bergkamp's touch, good repositioning by Wright. Not the most optimistic appeals, in truth, by the Arsenal players. But it's one of these days, if you're going to win the championship, when you've got to chisel out a result.
Yeah, you've got to pinch it 1-0. The thing you mustn't do if you're going to win a championship, Mark, is lose it 1-0. Forcing the play.
Joachim. And Bold making Seaman hit it on the volley. Wasn't the kindest back pass, but the credit should go perhaps to Julian Joachim for putting that sort of pressure on Steve Bold.
The worry was there for Bold. I mean, that was a certainty.
Bergkamp. Couldn't quite take it with him. Schumacher solid again. And Ian Wright trying to retrieve possession, giving away a free kick. Arsenal fans trying to provide an extra ingredient here to help their team have scored so prolifically at Highbury in recent games. York. Now Vieira. Might suit Arsenal just to draw Villa out a little bit and find some space to break into with the pace of Boa Morte. That's a great tackle again. Ekiog this time. Petit. Dixon. Parlour. Wilson having to be patient again. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Still 0-0. Winterburn. That's dallied too long. No time for that against Villa in this sort of mood.
That was good tracking back again, Julian Joachim. He looked to get Winterburn and Boa Morty 2 against 1 on Gary Charles, but Joachim really did chase back, track back well.
Where can Arsenal find an opening? Dixon, straightforward sort of ball really. Eaten up by Southgate. Shimaka. Adams curving it to Bergkamp. Shepherding him into the corner. Pierre is there, but he can't get to the ball. Nelson sorted that. All Arsenal get is a throw. Well, the very fact that Vieira wanted to play it suggested it would be a goal kick.
Of all the outfield players Arsenal and Showman, I think that Boa Morty has probably been the least effective. You know, there's a very little change, a couple of runs in the first half early on, but apart from that, I can't think of too much that he's been able to do. He's been able to contribute.
Petit's header, then Bergkamp's, and then Wright's. But Dixon is there to keep it going forward for Arsenal. Not a goal kick.
That's what that
thing having to be done at high tempo.
Well, that's what these three have done well, Martin. Whenever there's been a chink of light for any Arsenal player, one of them, this time it's Shimika, has been able to get across. Other times it's been Southgate, other times it's been Echiog. They've all played their part, snuffing out any little opening of danger that was around. I think Arsene Wenger would feel, Martin, they only need one. I think this is a game we would probably be saying at half-time, one will be enough. You know, we must be pretty confident if we get one, we can hold on to it.
Nelson there to help out Alan Wright. Person just judged offside, but the defensive side of Villa's game must be very pleasing to Ryan Little's right-hand man, Alan Evans, who of course was such a great competitor at the back when Villa were champions and European champions.
That'll be a free kick, Martin. Southgate certainly in a chunk of Bergkamp's shirt. I just wonder if the card will be produced. It is.
It is.
Southgate's book. Bergkamp made a lovely move on him. Took him a little deep, couple of steps, and then spun in behind him. And you can see there, he's just pulling away at the shirt.
In the presence of Shimaka making the decision for the referee that the card would be yellow and not taking an even more serious view of the situation. The Englishman, the Dutchman and the Frenchman, Tyler Bergkamp and Petit. It's the left foot of Petit, and it's the safe hands of Mark Bosnich.
Never had enough pace to trouble him. He just basically chipped over, no great pace on this. Slips just as he was making contact. Very comfortable save.
Aston Villa have made it hard at Highbury for an hour now for Arsenal. Vieira. Petit, that's a great try.
Well, I said it might take something special, that almost was it.
Adams been nudged and knocked by York, who gets the ball, but finds that Adam wants it back. Adams came in with absolutely everything then. York, Charles, it's Alan Wright, and it's Nelson, and back goes Seaman, and
That's a little warning if Arsenal needed one. I said that Arsenal might have thought they only need a goal. Perhaps Villa might think that as well at half-time. But this was a shot from Petit. Doesn't really get it out his feet. It's almost standing when he hits it. Certainly had enough power on it. As ever, who's there? Waiting for a mistake.
There first. Petit runners through the centre. The defenders in the centre. That's been such a solid part of Villa's game here. York as well forward on the right for Villa. Make sure the ball gets through to him. Ekyok. Just a holding operation from Brian Little's men. It's in midfield. Arsenal rarely getting time on possession. This pass is a good one, and it's York. It's Dwight York, and he can't power it past Seaman.
I think he should score there, Mark. I have to say, having got in there and done brilliantly, A, to control it, and B, to hold off Dixon. The touch there is an excellent one, but he uses his strength there, and I think having done that, he elected for power, but he's so close to David Seaman. All Seaman did was stand there.
Not by Adams. Alan Wright, this is Southgate. And we've got several players too far forward. Mortar. Inman Shinaka. Drops for Lee Dixon. He's stopped emphatically by Nelson. But once in each half, Aston Villa have got in at David Seaman.
See it again, it's a lovely ball in. It controls top class. But having stopped Winterburn, it was, I think from there, somebody of Dwight York's calibre has got to just be slotting that past David Seaman. I thought the save Seaman made in the first half was a great save. I thought York hit him there.
Away by Boamorte. Signs of David Platt getting ready. And it will be for Luis Boamorte.
Just looking across as well, Martin Anelka's got the tracksuit bottoms off as well. Well, as I said earlier, I felt this is a type of game where you might need someone running from deep to create something for you.
And of course it was with Aston Villa that David Platt's career really took off. It was there just over 3 years. And now he's going to get ready to come on to try and hurt them. 2 against 2 at the back. The ball travelled a long way forward. Junction pushing right up on Adams again.
Anything over the top's a ball, Mark. Honestly, anything over the top for Joachim or York is a ball. Anything just straight down the middle, 2 big centre-backs will just head it away all day. Anything down the side or over the back of them gives them a problem.
Draper's pass. Oh. Well, Grayson read it and very nearly converted it.
This is great goalkeeping, Mark, because he doesn't go for Grayson's touch. And that's why the save was difficult in the end. He had to wait to see whether Grayson was going to get anything on it. And when he didn't, that was why the reaction was a little late from David Seaman. But good goalkeeping.
Winterburn. Petit. Boamorte. Not really confident on his right foot. Vieira getting it back. Right. Parler, Dixon outside him, chance for an early cross. But again, those in light blue lining up to get it away.
Well, Arsenal want to make a change.
Yeah, make the substitution. And it's Ray Parler who goes off. David Pack came on in the last Premiership game here in very different circumstances and got a goal against Barnsley. Bergkamp. Here is Platt. Petit. Forward from Vieira. Again the chasing from Joachim. Let's see them kick it quickly. This is gone. Draper. Three-quarters of the job done by Aston Villa. And in a way, they'll be perhaps a little disappointed that they haven't taken the one of the two chances that would put in an even more prominent position.
I can't remember Mark Bosnich's been called on to make any kind of save, the likes of which David Seaman's had to make twice. And that's a credit to the way they've been organised at the back, the way they've defended. Good concentration, good discipline, good organisation. But, as you quite rightly said, Martin, it's only three-quarters of the way there. It's a marked difference in the first half when Arsenal dominated territorially. Certainly Villa were more confident to ask a few questions of their own.
It's getting the balance right, isn't it? Because if they get too confident, Arsenal have so little room in which to manoeuvre. As fatigue becomes a factor as well. We shall see. But it's Dwight York, and Bold hooks it away from him. That's Draper, and that putted into Bold.
Well, he did well because he knew what he was doing first time. He didn't know very much about Draper's shot. You're a centre-back, you play at the back. Well, that's what you're paid to get. Paid to get whacked anywhere. To stop anything going in. Again, does well here. But this one he knows little about. Off Adams, right onto his face. Comes with the territory.
Had a great understanding, those two, didn't they, Adams and Bold?
Little 1-2, clear up the danger.
Harry Lewin checking out Steve Bold, as we can just remind you about Monday Night Football on Sky Sports. And it's Leicester City against West Ham. We start at 7. Echok. Pass by Morte. Charles. Grayson, who's never scored a goal in the Premiership, incidentally, has made some optimistic breaks from midfield. Arsenal got to be careful here. York's offside, so that's not going to worry them too much.
But they are getting more joy, Martin, than Arsenal at creating chances and free play. It only just strays a fraction. Very hard, but clearly offside. It's a good decision.
Very little joy for Bergkamp and Wright. Dixon. The elasticity of York and his movement so prominent again. He's had better spells in his career. but he keeps getting into positions where opportunities are there. He's taken maybe a lower ratio over the last couple of months than he would expect. As we've said so often, it's when the chances aren't coming that you really start to panic as a forward. And Nicolas Anelka, the 18-year-old, reminds you that this is the French quarter of English football. Arsene Wenger sending on another Frenchman. Not yet. Charles. Again, it's Grayson who's got into the penalty area as Charles carries on his run. Trying to stick his eye off the ball. It ran from Nelson, offside again. Again, it's York. It is Luis Boamorte who gives way this time. Nicolas Anelka, who played in Greece in the European game when Dennis Bergkamp, with his phobia about air travel, didn't make the journey. And maybe the favourites to play in the next 3 Premiership games with the Bergkamp ban. Flat. Some anxiety from the Arsenal fans now. Won by Effiog. But in terms of sustained possession of the ball, this is Villa's best spell of the match. Arsenal not putting together any incisive work of their own at the moment. But they've still got Ian Wright, they've still got Dennis Bergkamp, and Villa fans watching, I'm sure, will still be concerned. Vieira. Flat. For Dixon.
That was a chance. They really did fashion an opening there for Lee Dixon. One of the best pieces of football they've put together, Arsenal. They'll be disappointed that he didn't miss Alan Wright when he was trying to put his cross in.
Well, can they find a way through from a corner? Petit. Well, that was Anelka.
Again, it's half a chance. It's a sharp chance. He's dropping over a group of players. He's only just on, that won't have helped, but it drops over the back of the players. Doesn't go in with great conviction. Just as a little stab at it, off the shin.
Vieira, Bergkamp, Dixon. Taking it with a sense of adventure that Arsenal really need. Wasn't it not doing much more than helping on the cross? But it was enough. Petit. The crowd who have taken to a different style of Arsenal play under Arsene Wenger would take the old cry under George Graham, 1-0 to the Arsenal. They haven't produced that, and there's only 15 minutes left. Joachim could be 1-0 to the Villa. There's the handball. Joachim crosses again. David Platt recognising the threat. Corner to Brian Little's team.
You have to say, Mark, the team that's looked most likely to score second half have been Aston Villa.
Bold making sure it wasn't going to come directly from the Villa player meeting the corner. Throw this time. Draper into the penalty area. Nelson. Southgate maybe starting to make his way back from the original corner, but he can make his way forward now. Draper with the corner. Oh, went over two Arsenal players, but Evans was alert. Anelka did well to get it back to right. Vieira. Dixon going on through the centre. Bergkamp on the right-hand side this time.
That's as good a ball as we've had, but no one there.
Man of the match, remind of the number for you to call, 0891111101. Match that's still very much in the melting pot at Highbury. Bergkamp, can he be the difference between the two sides? Tries to steer it.
Yeah, it was never really troubling. The goalkeeper here opens up a little for him. That had to come back an awful long way, a little bit more pace than that. I'm a little surprised. David Platt mentioned coming on. I'm not surprised he's on, but I'm a little surprised at the lack of running forward he's done at the moment. He again has just sat a little bit like Vieira and Petit. I thought his brief on coming on would have been let those two sit. When we get it, you get forward ahead. I haven't seen too much evidence of that so far.
One problem for David Platt is that Villa have having a good share of possession since he's been on. And that demands that he's got to do work in his own half of the pitch, and he's back in the right slot at the moment as Villa get a throw. On the ground where they do have a good record, and they're looking to improve it through Alan Wright.
Well, there have been questions asked if the smallest man on the pitch had gone in and scored. But it's I was going to say it's a chance. He does get in on a free header. The Lee Dixon. Fair way out.
Efjok. Southgate's got to move forward. It wasn't a perfect clearing header from Schumacher. That was much better from him. And York asking Charles to move forward again. And Villa continue to show that the belief, which to some extent began in Bilbao on Tuesday, was threatened by 4 enforced team changes today. But after an uncertain start, which you would expect in those circumstances, they bedded in. And Arsenal still haven't found a way to break them down. They were held here for a goalless draw by Tottenham earlier in the season.
Same sort of performance Tottenham gave as well, Mark, particularly second half, and down to 10 men, defended deep in numbers. And Arsenal found it really difficult to fashion any chances.
Winterberg. Anelka.
And a little ball through Ian Wright. I know it's easy from up here. And I felt sure someone like Bergkamp might well have spotted it. You watch Wright's run as he comes across in at the back of Ehjog. He's looking for it just to be slid through. That's the trouble, Mark. 13 attempts.
Just 3 on target. And as you pointed out quite properly, the more difficult goalkeeping today has been the responsibility of the man setting a new appearance record as an Arsenal goalkeeper. Southgate, well aware of what was on. Draper. It's been a really sustained level of performance by Aston Villa. Once they got going and got into the team pattern, and the recalled players today picked up the pace of proceedings. I don't really recall a time where they looked particularly vulnerable. Petit. Bang forward by Bold. Drops though for Anelka. Pass 2. Gets as ever away on the right hand side. 3 in the centre for Arsenal. Bergkamp. Behind Anelka, but Vieira is there. Patrick Vieira once more. David Pratt is in the centre, moving out to try and make space for others. Right. Well, appeals for handball. It's hard to spot in the crowd, and Paul Durkin is a lot nearer to it. Now he shows the yellow card to Bold. And the red card to Emmanuel Petit for putting his hands on the referee.
I have to say, I'm astounded. There's a huge claimant up for a penalty. That's the problem. This is a free kick. That's the booking. That's a bread and butter decision. But then Grimaldi just put his hands up.
Well, Arsenal are down to 10 men. Steve Bold, having had a yellow card wiped off his record through the new disciplinary procedures, has another one put on his record. And Emmanuel Petit looks over his shoulder as if in total disbelief as to what's happened, but Paul Durkin has sent him off. And Arsene Wenger, who's had to deal with all sorts of questions about Arsenal's disciplinary record over the past year or so, sees another player dismissed. This is what Paul Durkin took exception to. That. Shove in the chest.
I'm glad every referee doesn't send players off to lay a hand on him.
Well, Aston Villa, who all through the second half have given evidence of their growing belief that a draw was not the entire limit of their ambitions. Another away by Winterberg. Here's Joachim.
Chance there if Joachim had laid a better ball into Grayson's run.
Southgate. Here's Nelson. Came off him, it seemed. But the decision is a corner. Into the final 5 minutes. Southgate up for the corner. Not the script that the Arsenal fans hope to see enacted at Highbury today. Draper. Villa still well represented in the centre. And it will stay that way.
He's played well, Martin. Draper, I think he was talking the week. He was felt as if he was getting back to his best game.
I think that goes for a number of Aston Villa players who've had tentative starts.
Arsenal have been unlucky in that respect, but this is as good a defensive performance that Villa would have given this season.
Alan Wright. Back with Draper. Here's Vieira. Anelka. Taken from him by Simon Grayson. But what got Bold and Petit perhaps involved with the referee was the claims for handball here against Hugo Ekyog.
Well, it hits his hand, but it's certainly not a penalty or a free kick.
Bulldogkin, if memory serves me right, sent off Nathan Blake at Bolton in the Gary Pallister incident, when Pallister also went off and was later reprieved by the referee on video evidence. Not an easy vote for man of the match. 0891 111101. Might be a day when an Aston Villa player, given the circumstances of the fixture, many of the newspapers this morning suggesting that Villa were on a hiding to nothing here because of the team selection problems. But Julian Joachim, one of those who's shown the depth that Brian Little does have. I think it's fair to say it's not the depth perhaps that the Championship challenging side would expect to have.
No, I think that's fair. I think that's one thing they do lack. I mean, this is a free kick quite simply because Ian Wright just jumps at Hugo Ekyog. Makes no attempt to play the ball. I think the one thing Brian Little was able to put out though, Martin, even though making changes, he was a good goalkeeper and a back five that's pretty experienced in playing that way.
Grayson. That is handball. Grayson. And Seaman Desani had to come outside of the area, and he's used a hand where he's not entitled to do so. He gets blocked. Oh dear. Some head shaking and some head scratching going on at Highbury.
Well, if that wants a yellow card, well. There we go. The major concern won't be the yellow card, it will be what happens from the free kick.
Southgate joining York and Joachim. Hit and hope really from Draper and from Wright. Deflected! Oh, that was a close call. It was a question of who it came off. And when in doubt, I suppose, you give the goal kick.
Well, let's be fair, Matt.
Should have been a corner.
Wouldn't be the first time I've disagreed with a referee today.
Especially in the last 5 minutes of the match.
I'm sure he makes up rules of his own, this lad, at times.
Now Vieira with the yellow card hanging over him from the first half. Trying to get away from this, but it is Arsenal's ball. Well, Arsene Wenger will now lose Emmanuel Petit starting 2 weeks today from, one assumes, 3 matches as well. Platt. Oh, bodies falling. Thousands of Arsenal fans beseeching the referee, who has stopped the game, but given nothing Arsenal's way.
Well, this he did get right. I thought the first claim here, just great defensive header and all over the place. He gets up and wins it, and from this is the one. But Dennis Bergkamp leans in again and he pulls, I'm not sure who it is, the Villa defender, Shimika. He pulls him down with him. And I think the referee got that right.
Let's just reaffirm, Petit will miss the match here against Manchester United, as will Bergkamp in 2 weeks' time.
Well, they now are just launching it forward. Well into stoppage time.
Ekiot. Away by Draper, miscued by Adams. And beyond the redress of Dixon.
Yeah, they'll just take their time with this. I don't think Arsenal have done enough, Mark, to win the game. I think over the piece for 30 minutes, Villa really soaked up pressure, but I think after that they grew in confidence, and they've had as much of the game second half as Aston have had. Probably the 2 best chances in the match have fallen to them.
Well, the leadership of the Premiership stays with Manchester United. Arsenal denied a return to the top. Emmanuel Petit sent off. Brian Little's men showing the steel that served them so well in Spain last Tuesday. Arsenal held at Highbury by a depleted Aston Villa, 0-0.
Still to come tonight at 6:30, it's live basket. Shortly after, they were in again. Nichols this time. And again, the keeper did well. Bolton without a win, of course, since the opening day, and bottom going into this match. Dupuy with the save. Fish, of all people, up there. Where on earth did he come from? Approaching half-time now. Chelsea still probing. Petrescu. Maybe a little over casual. Thought he'd scored, probably. But again, well saved. Chelsea without 8 regulars. Petrescu again, just close. An assortment of suspensions and injuries and international calls today, but good enough to start with Ruud Gullit on the bench. Fella here with his shirt out, Dean Holdsworth. Another good stop from the keeper. That looked as though it was in. Well, Clark had it in the net, but it was disallowed for an earlier infringement. Nathan Blake away. And Beardsley here, you'd have thought would score, usually would have done. But Bolton kept plugging away. And eventually, eyes on the man in the middle there, penalty spot. Dean Holdsworth with his first for the club. And might yet prove to be his most important, off the mark. Both Holdsworth and Bolton.
You know, they're a little bit loose. I think what I noticed about this game is the amount of space that McManaman had on this left side, Richard. I mean, time after